Hey there guys, my name is Eddy Wang and we're finally breaking down Jin fully as a character, something that I believe many people have been expecting. This will be my guide, my personal view on Jin Kazama. Of course, there are going to be much better guides down in the future. Cherry Berry Mango is building one for Jin as well. Just hope you guys watch it when it's out. But this is my version of Jin. Okay, so let's start with a quick character overview. I think in general Jin is pretty strong in Tekken 7. He is among one of the best characters in the game. I think around, if not really top 10. He is really good. He is consistent in tournaments. He has been seen top 8s in Tekken World Tours. And lastly, in the hands of Cherry Berry Mango himself, he has reached 4th place, which is one of the highest places Jin's ever got ever since Amigo won a tournament and Shikurin also won a tournament. He's strong, he's pretty good. He has a little bit of everything that all characters in the game has, meaning that he has a tool for every possible situation. While it's considered that many of these tools are average, this meaning that for every single tool that Jin has, there is one character in the game that has a tool in comparison that if you put both at display, that character will do so much better than Jin. That's probably that is why his tools are considered average. But anyway, he's a character that has tools for every possible situation in the game. He doesn't have really too many obviously flaws anyway, and he is among, if not one of the most complete characters in the game, being able to do mostly everything, and he's strong in many areas. Also, he has great damage. Jin has really good damage. He has really good pulse. He is among the safest characters in the game as well. I think easily among the best. He is only risky, or he's mostly unsafe when he does lows. Every low that Jin has is -13, like this one, this is -13, this one is also -13, and of course his L sweep is super negative, and CD4 is also CD4, which is his L sweep, is super negative, as well as this L4 is also super negative on block, being launch punishable. There is a few moves that are quite unsafe as well, like his 1+2 being -14, and Zen 2 also -14. Can kicks are -17, and pretty sure there is more. Yeah, there is 1-2 out of Zen is also -14. Down forward 3 is -15. The second hit is predictable, so just don't use as much. Yeah, among those, outside of those moves, Jin is mostly safe, being -9 at worst in many of his moves. There is a few requirements to play Jin. The most needed requirement, the most thing that you're going to need to play Jin is movement. You need to be able to move with the character, because without movement Jin is a rather stabby character and you're going to feel stuck, and he can be easily overwhelmed with pressure because he doesn't have really good moves that can keep the opponents at bay without good knowledge of fundamentals. He's a really fundamental character. He's very flexible. He can be played defensively, and he can be played offensively as well. While on these positions, being able to move is really important, as I said before, because he can be easily shut down with pressure. This hasn't changed ever since Tekken 4, but now he has many ways to escape this same pressure. You can poke, actually, these pokes getting out of it now. including up forward 2, which is pretty good now. Before I'm going over some of, yeah, why not? Let's start with Jin best normals and strings. I would say that forward 4 is among the best normals in the game. It is a I-16 move that is +4 on hit, -8 on block, but if you are able to move, this move becomes so good. You can transition into Zen actually, and there is a strong mix-up game that comes from Zen and 4-4 without Zen, and 4-4 Zen 1+2, 4-4 Zen into CD4, 4-4 Zen into 4-4-3, and 4-4 Zen into Zen 3. Anyway, I'm not going to cover this anymore because I have already broke down this section on a separated video, so you will find the video in the description of this guide. I hope you guys watch it, and let's go moving towards another things. One of the other greatest moves Jin has is of course his down 4. While he's -2 on hit and -13 on block, he avoids heights, so it's good to avoid pressure and gives you time to bait out counter hits or escaping. Really good move. There is down back 4, a really hard hitting low. It does good damage, 18 damage. It's +3 on hit, meaning that it's going to net you a guaranteed 2-1 if they try to respond with a jab, but they can still crush anyway, so this is a really good move as well. While being -13 on block, there is 2-1-4, which is among one of the best strings in the game. 2-1 is on block is -3, but on hit is also -3. Can net you another one. The third hit is super delayable. Never do the loud part is kind of predictable and seeable, so it is very launch punishable and it doesn't guarantee a combo anymore, so might as well never use this unless of course your opponent is trying or is too afraid to duck, then you can use it. But there are better mix-ups that can come from 2-1 alone. You can do 2-1 and then just backdash after you do 2-1. You can do 2-1 into down 4, 2-1 into down back 4, 2-1 into 4 also works, 2-1 into the layered 4, 2-1 into electrics. There is a lot that you can do. You can even do 2-1 into steps. It's possible, and you will be surprised by how many people get open by 2-1 into steps. It's pretty good. He also has Zen 1+2, which is one of the greatest moves that Jin has since Tekken Tag 2. It has been buffed from Tekken Tag 2 to Tekken 7. Now it launches vertically and it's easy to combo, and it's -13 and no longer -17, meaning no one in this game can punish this move on block. Do the pushback. There is also Zen 3, which is, I think, is one of the greatest buffs Jin got since the FR update. It's a homing mid that is safe on block, -9, but the most important aspect of this is that it launches on counter hit, meaning that your opponent cannot just simply try to press buttons when you enter the stance. They have to respect the stance now because of this move, especially if you do it from distances. And along this buff, it came along with while standing 3 being also now a homing that launches on counter hit and making him really strong, and his 50-50 mix-up offense, which we will be covering down further away. There is also ECD1, also a super good move, -13 on block or -12 if not mistaken. You can delay this to force people to duck and then launch them with CD1, easiest combos ever. There is of course 443, which is +3 on block, comboable launcher. There is L-sweep. L-sweep is Jin comboable low. Not many people like this low because they think the damage is currently insignificant. That is not true. Jin comboable low is really strong, especially because if people tend to take too many of these, the damage tends to stack, and when the damage is stacked, it starts to force people to duck. So this is his most damaging comboable low that is plausible to do on real matches. It did 48. If you do 2 of these combos against your opponent, it's easily 96 damage, which I already covered also in a video that is going to be in description, which talks about back forward 2-3 into Zen. So I'm not going to talk about CD4 anymore. There is down forward 1-4, a 13 frame mid hitting move that second hit puts into screw. Before it used to be up knockdown, but now it's a screw, so Jin is able to check people with 4-4. Down forward 4 trades, down back 4 trades with jabs. 4 will counter hit many moves. Really good move. Jin is kinda dangerous at 13 frames. He becomes really strong, especially when he has access to rage, which is, if not the fastest rage act in the game at I-13. So when people do at 13 frame a move that is -13, Jin has 4 as well, which is one of the fastest homing in the game. Punish a lot of things and adds up to a 50-50 situation where he can either CD4, go into 4-4-3, check with 4-4, or even do an analytic if he feels like. There is forward 3. Forward 3 is a 12 frame mid, really fast, and the hitbox and damage is not that great. Actually, there are some moves that can go under, and this move is weak against sidestep left, meaning that if people go to Jin's right, this move is going to whiff. I don't like this move pretty much, but the move is good and it cannot be denied this glory. There is 4-4-4. This is one of the moves that I enjoy a lot lately from Jin. 4-4-4 forces crosses on the opponent. It's plus on hit and it's plus on block. On block is also super plus, making 2-1 guaranteed moves. You can also force some trades with 4-4 or with back 3 forward, making a really good frame trap. There is also forward 3-3, which I don't like as much unless it's for the plus frames, and it's good for counter hit baiting, or you can do throws right after, which is also good for it. And there is back 3 forward, which back 3 itself is I-16, but if you transition into Zen, it becomes a I-15. So this is important to know because this is crucial to learn some of the Jin combos that are out there, especially his most damaging ones. So this is really good with Jin. Now that we have talked about his best normals, we're going to cover Jin's weakness. We already covered that he has really good homings, really good damage, but the damage we're going to talk about it later. He's really strong on counter hit games. Jin is among one of the best counter hit launchers in the game, especially not many people enjoy the fact that most of the moves go straight into screw, but he's a character specifically designed to have one of the most damaging fillers straight off of a screw. So it's not a big deal that Jin is able to do really good damage off one screw. It's really good for him, and he does really scary damage. And so then, continuing, He also has forward fall, which is his most usable counter hit move, and does really good damage as well. And there is a lot of failures that you can do from this. There is also back 3, which is also a good counter hit, and of course not forgetting ECDS 3 or Zen 3 or Western 3, which is among the best. His 444 is also good. Down 4 becomes guaranteed and forces a knockdown. Forward P3 also forces a knockdown when counter hit, and his down forward 2 becomes a counter hit as well, and can give him some really strong combos. Really strong combos that he can get from this. But the most basic one is of course this one. So let's talking about Jin's weakness. Jin is weak against, let's see, we already covered that he has some unsafe laws, which is pretty much his biggest weakness right now. I believe the laws are Jin's biggest weaknesses right now, because the opponent that has a 13 frame or 14 frame launcher are going to give him a hard time, especially characters like Kazuya, where Jin is mostly unable to use laws. But off of that, he's weak against sidestep left. Sidestep left, which is pretty much what makes all Mishima's weak. They all can be stepped to the left, and most of these moves whiff from that direction. Wow. Anyway, most of these moves whiff on that direction, and the only good reason is because he has some really good homings that can cover pretty much this for him, and like 4. But anyway, this is Jin's greatest weakness. He doesn't have really good tracking moves, as you can see. Many of them whiff from that direction. So in order to beat this, you have to use homings most of the time. Homings will do the work. But while he can use, like, you see the one, he has electrics. The electric wind hook fist actually covers his bad side. So unlike the Mishimas, where they can be stepped to this side even if they use electrics, Jin cannot, because this bad side of him is covered all by his electric. So you kinda have to consider what type of Jin you are playing if you are planning to beat Jin by stepping to the left. If one notices this and his electric pretty much cover his entire right area, it doesn't matter how the opponent is moving. He doesn't even need to realign. Okay, so if your opponent is trying to step Jin, the electric will always going to hit if they go to sidestep left, which is pretty much his weak side. Okay, so this is a Jin weakness, and this is how you cover it up. You can cover it with homings on sidestep left or sidestep right, and on sidestep left specifically, you can cover it with electric wind hook fist itself. So Jin electric is kind of counterintuitive in relation to the rest of the Mishimas. While their electric tracks on the right side, you cannot sidestep right against electrics. You need to sidestep left. Jin is the only electric in the game that you need to sidestep right. different from the other Mishimas. It's because if you sidestep left against Jin, then his wind hook fist is going to catch you, trying to avoid it. So not many people are aware, and I've been talking about with many of my sparring friends that you need to step to the right if one is using too many electrics. But either way, it's kind of hard to step Jin in general, and if they go to the right, this tracks to that side, this tracks to that side as well. This one also tracks, I believe, and he also has CD4, which kinda weird, but it's actually a homing move, and it's pretty hard to step, or it's not steppable at all. Pretty good actually. And most of these combos can realign. Anyway, that's for Jin weaknesses and how you cover. He also has strong Okizeme game, which I've been covering many of them, including this one, which is the pin, which I will cover in another video specifically just for him. Not going to cover the pin now, but there is also another video that talks about the Kazek setup, which is one of the greatest Okis Jin has. There is a more complex topic I want to talk about, is the fact of Jin being a Mishima, but this is something that we will cover later on, right after we talk about his combos. Okay, so we didn't cover punishes yet, so we're going to cover Jin punishes. He has really good punishes. At 10 frames he has 1-2, 2-1 and 2-4, which is knockdown version. At 11 frames he has while standing 4, down 2 and down back 1. Pretty good. At 12 frames he has 1+2, which was flats. At 13 frames he has 4, down forward 1-4 and raise yard, which are good. At 14 frames he has forward 1+2, which also was flats, and of course the infamous electric wind hook fist, also as a punishing for being Pat Mishima. At 15 frames he has up kicks with Jin, exceptionally good now, because now it's a launcher regardless. He also has can kicks, which also do a lot of damage, and he's one of his best launchers and works really good as a punishing. And there are ways to squeeze the most of the damage as well, which is good. And yeah, at 16 frames he has forward 4. Jin is one of the few characters that is able to launch Ayashi with to punish Ayashi 4-4-2 with 4-4 itself, which gives him a mix-up in many cases. He also punishes Paul with this. And at 17 frames he has back 4. While back 4 isn't exactly a punishing move you want to use, being able to let a back 4 on a punishing as a punishing, it gives you an idea of how minus that move is. Then you can just simply punish with electric. At 19 frames he has ECD1. At 20 frames and beyond he has CD4 4-4-4 mostly. He also has Zen 1+2 and CDS 1+2. This one being 15, this is 17 pretty much. So this is 17 and this is like 23, okay, because this is 10 frames and this is 5. So we're going to cover this as well, but this is what Jin punishes are. So talking about Jin, Zen and CDS. Zen is a stance that can be accessed by pressing down 1+2. It's a 10 frame setup, but it goes under ice and the hits that come from it are super delayable. There isn't much difference between CDS and Zen. The only difference is that Zen is a 10 frame setup and moves Jin forward, and CDS is a 5 frame setup and moves Jin backwards. So it has a better hitbox to avoid highs, while this one doesn't, and this one takes less time to come out of the stance. While Zen can be only cancelled with CD, with crouch dash you need to input down back, but then you can cancel the down back with the back itself. While CDS can be cancelled with forward or with down forward. You can also cancel with down forward, then hold down as you cancel with down forward. Really good string. You can also cancel with wave dash. Only CDS. There is some strings in this game that can be CDS. Now we can talk about the fact that Jin is also a Mishima. Of course, the main question is, what tools makes Jin pretty much a Mishima in this game? He has a 10 frame launcher that knocks down. It's different from 1-1-2 from Mishima's, but he still has them. He has a 12 frame move that works plats. He has a really long reach in mid that can also counter hits. He has an electric that launches on neutral hit. he has a health sweep, and it's actually a combo bowler that forces people to duck as well. He has a 50-50 mix-up of his wave dash with CD4 and 443. You can also harass people just like you would with Mishimas, and he has one option that Mishimas doesn't have, which is this. This is a tool that covers up eye crashing shenanigans and sidestep shenanigans against wave dash. It's really good as well. It's really good, Jin. So this is what makes Jin a Mishima. But the question now is, do you need electrics to play Jin at beginning level? I'd say no, you don't need electrics to play Jin at beginning level, because he has really good pokes and really good normals, and he has other launchers that Mishima doesn't have, and you can play totally fine without it. But as you start to face even stronger opponents in the future, and as you really start to get good with Jin as well, you will feel the need of having electrics, because the electrics is just this good. Not going to lie, is one of the best buffs Jin got ever since Tekken Tag 2. Actually, I consider 3 of the best buffs of the Jin. One is the electric, launching on neutral hit. It empowers his neutral game, make him incredibly strong, more than he already is. He is able to whip punishing with safe launchers now. He's able to apply pressure, a Mishima style. He is able to escape situations with stepping into launch without necessarily need to have a counter hit happening. He takes less risks, so you don't need to challenge people with electric in order to get that launch anymore. You don't need this. The only drawback of this move is that it's really its execution barrier. It is incredibly difficult to do, and compared to the rest of the Mishimas, only the electric version launches. The regular version doesn't launch, but this is one of the perks of Jin, of having probably the hardest electric in the game, because his electric different from Mishima's, and even his windhook fist all changes status during neutral hit, counter hit, while he has rage during neutral and counter hit, meaning that while his hook fist is only 20 damage, his electric is already 25, as you can see. If he has access to rage, this all changes, meaning that his electric becomes 27 while his hook fist becomes 22. And when you add a counter hit to this, let's disable rage field so you guys can have an idea. His windhook fist becomes a launcher that launches at 24 damage, and his electric does 30 damage, so that's a lot of damage for a counter hit electric. Now you add rage into it, and his windhook fist becomes 26, which is more than a regular electric, while his electric version does 33 damage. So depending on how you hit Jin, there is a lot that you can hit net in damage with Jin. There is a lot that you can net in damage with Jin, because he's going to get some really crazy damage by the end of it, and you're going to see the difference for yourself. Okay, so this covers up why Jin Electric is so good, and why do you need it at highest level of play. Besides of being a tool that do a lot of damage, you get the max damage off of his combos from this. And also one of the things is that you can actually design your game with Jin around the electric, meaning that it's a complementary tool that you can sum up to get plus frames. and then you can mix it up with his already good counter hit launchers, movement itself, throws, and mix it up with anything. You can mix it up with anything. So there are Jin players that mix up his game or design his games around electrics. To name a few, I would like to say Cherry Berry Mango is among one of the Jin players that switches playstyle to design his electric game. So he is able to design his game around electrics. There is also Furumizu. Furumizu also designed his game around electrics. Myself, me also use it to do this. Is a tool that is still optional, but you can pretty much switch playstyles endlessly and get more free ways to apply or variate your pressure, your actions, anything you do around this move, including movement. So if you have electrics and movement and really good fundamentals, your Jin is going to alternate styles a lot and is going to be really strong. There is only one move we didn't cover, which is Parry. I don't think I need to cover this as much. Parry is good. It gives access to launch to moves that are otherwise plus, while it's not as the frame advantage is not the same as stepping moves or backdashing away from them, because Jin still has contact with them. So in every move that out plus you would be stepping, you would take away with Parry 3 frames of this move, meaning that he is -3 on the plus frames he's going to get. You take away 3 frames of it and you get the frame advantage of his parry. Anyway, the parry is good and is pretty situational in my opinion, because it makes some of the moves that are either safe punishable, some can become launch punishable, and there is some that where he doesn't get frame advantage at all, and he cannot punish even with a 10 frame jab. Well, there are some that are super safe on block or whiff, and he gets a 10 frame jab at least. But anyway, it's a super situational move and it requires a lot of studying. You cannot autopiloting this, because the recovery frames of these moves is actually punishable. If your opponent sees this coming, he's going to throw out a move that is going to launch punish you for trying to bait out whatever. Is one of the reasons why I don't like to use parry as much unless I totally see a move coming, and it's one of the reasons why everyone that picks Jin usually against me and use this move a lot kinda loses. So this covers our Jin guide. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys like the video and subscribe to get more updates in the future. I'm not just a Tekken guy, but this is the game that I'm playing until the next Mortal Kombat is out. See you guys in future videos.